you guys enjoy your whatever that is.
All right. Test.
Somebody.
And, well, I'm fucking doing it. Welcome back to Convincing Idiots. This is segment number 3 of episode 187 that you are listening to. I am Millennial Nick, alongside Gen X Brian and old Wheezy Zennial Dean.
Wheezy should be my nickname.
Wheezy F baby. And we are back here this week. Dean is doing his best impression of a dying elderly man.
I thought you were going to say sex god, but no, we'll take that. All right, no, it's fine. It's fine.
We wanted to give you something that's within range that you can muster up, at least doing justice to. So we're going to go with the wheezing old man. It's paying homage to.
You do that with sex too.
Minimal movement.
Yeah.
Minimal movement. That's right. Mm-hmm. So I had a way to tie into that. It's not working now. We've interrupted it too many times. We're going to talk about covers.
About my junk.
We're going to talk about covers this week, gentlemen, for our third and final segment. We're going to discuss some of our favorite music covers of popular songs. One artist paying homage to another, if you will. So we're going to go around here. We're going to talk about our personal Mount Rushmores of cover songs. This is a really fun one, guys. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
So let's start with Dean, since he's had such an easy time getting words out this week. Let's go ahead and hear what you got.
I like you, Nick, have been looking forward to this topic for a while because
who covered Gene Pitney that you like, Dean?
No, my first cover.
They have to hear his music first.
No, it's beautiful. My first cover of my Mount Rushmore cover is going to be an Afghan.
Nice.
Oh, okay. No,
it was going to be a quilt.
Okay. Just laugh at him now, Brian, so he'll stop it. Otherwise, he's going to keep doing this the whole fucking time. It's good. Oh, I get you.
First of all, I don't think Brian knows how to laugh. I don't think it's a possibility for him.
He's been doing a podcast with you for 3 years. He has forgotten.
He's forgotten how to laugh.
Yeah. It is. Yeah,
that makes sense.
That's right. Yeah.
My first cover is the song Jolene, originally done by the amazing and our favorite Dolly Parton.
Mm-hmm.
And this cover is by Jack White.
Okay. Oh, okay.
If you haven't heard it,
I don't think I have. I've heard the Miley Cyrus one, but I've never heard the Jack White one.
No, she's garbage. Jack White does this on stage, so like I have it on vinyl, and it's done on stage at some concert. It's very cool and haunting, like his rendition of it. If you haven't heard it, definitely it's that I think there's only that version of it from Jack White, but it's you can pull up on YouTube or anything like that. But yeah, Jolene by Jack White is definitely my first one on my Mount Rushmore.
I haven't heard it yet, but I guess on the new Beyonce cover or country album, excuse me, she covered that song. I heard it's very good as well, like a modern version, change the lyrics a little bit with Dolly's. Yeah, it's supposed to be good.
All right.
Good. All right.
Brian, what do you got?
I'm going to give you some 80s metal here, guys. So I kind of like this. The cover's fun, but it's making my list in part because of the significance at the time. So this is Come On, Feel the Noise by Quiet Riot, the original by Slade. Quiet Riot covered a couple of songs by Slade. So, Quiet Riot, the very early metal band, not really hair metal yet. Hair metal wasn't really in existence. This is early 80s, like 83, 84 era, something like that. So They did not want to cover this song, but their manager, producer, record company, whatever, kind of pushed them to do so, and they did it in one take. I recall hearing they had a video on MTV, and that song and Metal Health, the Quiet Riot Metal Health album at that era,
Mental
really,
Health is
Metal Health
is that a
was
cover?
No.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
saying,
I was like, that's not them either.
Metal Health was original song.
It's like their two biggest songs.
You're right.
Original bastards.
Come on, Feel the Noise was the first song they did.
Come on,
and that was a video on
feel the
MTV.
noise.
I'm just saying. So that really shot that out. So that album, the Quiet Riot Metal Health album in general, with that song on it as the starter, really took metal at the time to new heights in the 80s. So that really was one of the very first bands that hit it big on MTV, etc. So it just really, it was a whole new music. It was mainstream radio. That song made it. And it just really skyrocketed metal at the time. So more and more radio stations played some metal songs and so forth. So it was really just, it just took that music to a whole other level. It was great. That was great fun. Just a great era to grow up in at that time. If you liked hard rock and metal music, that was just a fantastic era. And Quiet Riot really helped pave the way with that song. There you go.
Very good,
Nick. Yep.
And that's the song. I mean, like, I don't know another version of that song. I mean, I found out.
I don't either.
I found out probably within the last
very
15 years that that's not their song. I didn't know that because every time I've ever heard that song, it's Quiet Riot.
I actually think that we're going to end up through doing this topic, guys. We're going to say that a lot. Like,
sure,
oh shit, I didn't know that was it.
I've got
because
on my
the
list
majority of music, especially like the 50s. If you look like shit, Elvis Presley alone,
sure,
his first, whatever amount of albums were covers of like old blues songs.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So with that said, Nicholas, what do you got?
Well, because I wasn't going to kick it off with this one, but because this is what we're talking about, exactly. Did not know that this was not written by them. My favorite band, Pearl Jam, covered song that was written in the early 60s, I think, called Last Kiss by, I can look it up today, Wayne Cochran was the original singer of that song. I actually listened to that version for the first time
it's
today.
So close, isn't it?
Well, okay.
The composition, not his voice.
The way, kind
he sticks relatively close to it.
It's more, the original version is more upbeat.
Who's second, Nick? The original? Sorry.
His name is Wayne Cochran.
Okay.
Oh no. But Pearl Jam covered it and put it on their Lost Dogs compilation, which was a bunch of B-sides and tracks that didn't get put on other
Such
albums.
a good song.
And I guess, I've heard them talk about this in like documentaries and things. They were talking about Mike McCready was, found this. He was in a record store, found this record, and he has a very eclectic taste in music, and he was like, we should cover this song. I just think it would be cool to do. And while they were recording one of their albums, they were like, let's do Last Kiss.
See,
and,
I love that shit.
It is a very popular song for them. I've seen Pearl Jam many times over the years, and I have so many of their live albums.
Nick, do you get it? Like, after you learn that it was originally a 60s song, like, listening to it again, you go, oh, shit, it is a fucking old school, 60s
You can tell
song.
by the lyrics, out on a date in my daddy's car. It's got an old feel to it anyway, lyrically. Even if someone had written it in modern times, it certainly has from a writing standpoint that they're coming at you from a very old style, going out getting milkshakes and burgers and out on a date and whatever.
Right.
So it had definitely had that kind of feel to it from a lyrical standpoint. But it's very popular for Pearl Jam. They play it most live shows. It makes its way into the set list. It's very popular. And they've kind of made it their own. They've made it so popular that anytime you hear that song, you hear Pearl Jam's version of it. Last Kiss by Pearl Jam is definitely up there for me. Love that song.
Good
and
one.
Like I said, listen, it's very well. Yeah, it's just a very heartbreaking, very sad song about the car wreck. I was familiar with the song.
You'd be
Guy and his girl are out on a date. They get in a car wreck, and he's basically recounting his experience that night and holding her in his arms as she's dying after this car accident. Very, very sad song.
I think 75 to 80% of the songs from the 60s were about teenagers dying, one way or the other. It's fucking, I guess, a very tragic time period back then.
Yeah, dangerous time to be a kid.
It really was. All right, my next one, Sound of Silence, originally done by Simon and Garfunkel, covered by Disturbed.
Great one.
This was a song because, you know, my father, who has been on this show, we did a few weeks ago.
He was?
Yep, not exactly what you'd call a Disturbed fan. But when I had heard that for the first time,
he is disturbed with you.
He is disturbed.
Children.
Yes, very disturbed.
Yeah.
But not a fan of the band. More of just the emotion. So when he had when it first came out, I brought it to him and had him listen to it, and he was a big fan. So there is at least one Disturbed song that Don enjoys, and
there you go.
And Sound of Silence is it.
Yeah, great version. Haunting.
Yep.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Yep. Okay. The original also great. That's the thing. A lot of these too. The original and not all of these. The original is almost equally as good as the cover. You know, definitely some are like that one. Certainly, the original is fantastic. The Disturbed version is great. This is definitely one that fits that description. So, Marvin Gaye's song, I heard it through the grapevine. The original, fantastic. I really love the cover by Creedence Clearwater Revival. It's one of my favorite CCR songs. Just a different whole vibe of CCR is a band you probably really like them or you're just like, I don't really get it. I don't understand the sound.
I am right now trying to think if I've ever heard
it's a long
the grapevine
song
by CCR.
It's probably a good 10 minutes.
I feel like I have. But it's not.
All right, I'm going to actually start making a list of what some of these you guys are saying. So
just a lot of fun. John Fogerty, fantastic vocals and just a total CCR vibe and sound to it. I guess it's one of their longer songs they did. It's very, very good. So check that out. Love that version, and it's made my top 5.
All right,
nice.
I'm going to put that on the list there.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Nick?
This one you're all familiar with. This was a very great song in its original form. The Eurythmics made Sweet Dreams, and Marilyn Manson took it and put a completely different spin on it, and made it very Marilyn Manson on the Smells Like Children EP. That was
hold on. What did you say?
The EP was called Smells Like Children. That was the name of the EP that it appeared on. Yeah,
I honestly didn't hear the EP part, and I thought you said it smells like children's
just
pee.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, whoa, what's going on there?
But just a great version of the song. Like I said, I love the first one. The Eurythmics version is fantastic. But the way, and Marilyn Manson has remade he's covered many songs, many songs, and usually does a really good job with them. But this one in particular, I think, was the first one that he did. And other than covering things on his first album from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but this was definitely one that got a lot of radio play, and still to this day. I mean, I would say if you're listening to a rock station and you hear a Marilyn Manson song, if it's not The Beautiful People, it's definitely Sweet Dreams. It still gets played a lot, and Marilyn Manson has certainly his faults, but he definitely did not have any faults in making this rendition of Sweet Dreams. So that is why it is on my list.
Yeah, very good. A lot of ebbs and flows of that version. Marilyn Manson did a few great covers of 80s songs.
Tainted Love.
Tainted Love. Personal Jesus was very good.
Have you guys heard his cover of the MASH theme? Now, the TV show, this isn't a joke. The MASH theme, if you've heard the MASH theme, da 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 da, it actually comes from the movie. It's a song that they sang in the movies called "Suicide Is Painless," and he does a cover of it that is fucking fantastic.
Okay.
If you get a chance, look that up.
All right. Okay.
Sure, there's no punchline. You're not joking.
No.
Okay, I must have been a lie because I'm like, I've never heard of this, and I
No, Suicide is Painless
It's not on any
is the
album.
lyrics to the MASH theme. It was done in the movie MASH, and then Marilyn Manson for it was probably one of the compilation CDs that he did, for some movie. But yeah, he did a cover of it, and it's really fucking good.
Okay, good.
All right, my next one is comes from the great Michael Jackson. It is Billie Jean, but this cover is done by the great Chris Cornell.
Mm-hmm.
He did it live on. There was a French. He did like a show in France with a live set, and you can get that album. And he does that amongst other covers and some of his original stuff, also from his other bands. But the cover of Billie Jean is one of my favorite covers. Period.
Awesome.
Nice.
Very good. Every time you hear him sing, man, it's such a fucking tragedy, man.
It is.
That guy. Yeah, man. God dang it.
So sad.
Yeah. Okay. Not many people know that this is a cover, and Nick, being a Kiss fan, I know you know this version for sure. So Kiss back in the late 70s decided that each individual member was going to make a solo album, which they all did, which was pretty much almost the nail in the coffin for the band at the time here. But the great Ace Frehley made a solo album, and it did a great cover of Back in the New York Groove. So a lot of people think that's an original Ace Frehley, but it is actually not. It's a cover song. The original by a band, Hello. I've never heard the original that I could think of, but Ace certainly made that song his own. It became a staple in the Kiss concerts at that time. Ace always sang it. Mm-hmm. Ace, to this day, it's one of his. If you go see Ace Frehley, which I have, his solo tours, he definitely sings that as like one of his encores. He always sings it without question.
Yep. Yeah.
He always plays the guitar,
one of his
lights up
songs,
and stuff.
Yeah,
it definitely is. And when Kiss did the reunion tour, Ace had to sing it then, of course. So huge song, great vocals by Ace Frehley. Definitely has the feel of. It's great hearing a guy with Ace's New York accent sing a song about New York. A lot of fun. So great version. Back in the New York Groove. There you go. Nick?
Sidebar: Ace also does a great Fox on the Run.
Yes,
cover
he does.
Well. That's where actually initially when you started with Ace, I thought that's where you're going.
The vocals of the original Ace sound. I mean, they're eerily similar as far as the original. I don't remember who's saying the original, but yeah, you're right. Ace does. Ace tends to do that. He almost every album. He tends to have a very good at least one cover. He's got a new album that's dropping. I think this dropped, by the way, Nick. So check out the new Ace Frehley album while we're at it, by the way. But yeah, so there you go. Good, nice. Good stuff. Cool. Yep.
All right. Am I up? Is it me?
Yes, you are. You are.
Next one. This is. If you ask me what my very favorite cover of any song by anyone ever is, it's probably this. It is so beautiful and so well done. The great Tom Petty has a very popular song called Free Fallin'. Yeah. And John Mayer does an acoustic version of it on his Live in Los Angeles. There was a he did back in probably 2007, 2008. He did a show in LA where at the time he warmed up with an acoustic set. So he was the opening act, then he came out for the middle set and performed with his blues trio, the John Mayer trio, and then for the third and final set, he was his John Mayer, all his hits and stuff like that. It's incredible. It's just the whole show's great, but his acoustic stuff that he does is so great, right. And he closes with Free Fallin'. And the tempo,
I gotta listen to this.
It's acoustic. It's beautiful.
Voice
the tempo of it is
notes.
changed.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just when I hear and Tom Petty,
you're right.
Tom
that might
Petty's,
be my number one.
It's an iconic song.
Sure.
And Tom Petty is one of the all-time greats.
Yeah.
But for John Mayer to take a song like that with that type of power, that type of legacy. When I hear "Free Falling" by Tom Petty on the classic rock station, I'm hearing John Mayer's cadence to the song in my head. That's the one I hear. That's the one I listen to, and it's beautiful. It gives me chills every time. It's just so good.
Nick, tell me if you agree with me on this for that song. Is I am not musical, as in I can't play an instrument. I definitely can't sing. Right?
Just plays a mean skin flute, Nick. That's it.
That he do.
Well,
yeah, he do.
You
He got the dexterity for it.
At least have one talent.
That he does.
Look, Mom, no hands. But the one thing I hear that song, and for some reason, that is the song where I get fucking super jealous of like how good he is with his vocal range. Brian, if you haven't heard "Free Falling" by Tom Petty, YouTube that shit. It is fucking terrific.
Yeah, you have
the Tom Petty I've heard, but even the John Mayer.
I'm sorry, John Mayer.
He missed.
I will
listen to the Tom Petty too, but definitely
absolutely.
Great song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but absolutely, it's I every time I hear it, I just in my head I would go, God damn it! Like I am. It is. It's my favorite cover of any song by anyone ever. It's just perfect. And it. I think another thing about it is like it does a really great job of keeping the spirit and the sound and the tone of the first one, but it's its own spin on it. It's the same. It's hard to explain, and Brian, you'll have to listen to it and let us know what you think. But like, it does a great job of being the same, but yet its own thing at the same time. And I can't make sense of it any other way than just saying that. Anyone who's listening that has not heard it, whether you like John Mayer or you don't, I still recommend you go listen to this song. It's just gorgeous piece of music. So go check it out. But yeah, "Free Falling" by John Mayer.
You're right, Nick. That actually might be my number one.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a good one.
I'm pulling it to switch it up with something now so we have different things.
Sure. Yeah, I got a bunch of honorable
that was definitely
so,
my list.
We double up. Yeah.
All right, my next one. It's been covered to death, but as it should be because it's a beautiful song. "Hallelujah."
Sure.
By Leonard Cohen. I think everybody has their own favorite version of that song. Mine is by Rufus Wainwright. Everybody does a little bit different, different music, different tone, different style. But my favorite will always be Rufus Wainwright for "Hallelujah."
Okay.
You have to send that in the group because like you said, it's one of those that's been covered so many times that I don't know which one is the version that I hear in my head. When I hear that song, it may be a cover. I'm not sure, and so I'm not. I'm not
the original is Leonard Cohen. Leonard Cohen is Leonard Cohen.
I'd say that name is. It's probably.
No. I mean by that as in he's very distinct voice.
Okay.
Very deep voice. So is every David
maybe
said
that's
the Lord. Like I don't think most people haven't heard Leonard Cohen's version, even though he wrote it and originally done it. His was not the popular one. Jeff Buckley, Rufus Wainwright, and what was those? It was like the Acoustic Five people that sing Punxsutawney Phil or some shit like that. But anyways, there's only a few that are like really. I don't know. I can't remember the name, but there's something like that. It's like an acoustic band.
Yeah, excellent.
I'm not familiar with that song.
We got Punxsutawney Phil singing "Hallelujah." But Rufus Wainwright is my choice for the covers.
Very good.
Nice.
Excellent. Next one I have is a popular TV theme, the Night Court theme sung by Enrico Palazzo. Guys, I don't know if you've ever heard this version. That's just a joke. So
I masturbate.
Nick does not get that joke because it's a Naked Gun reference.
He doesn't.
That's all right.
I've never heard a Night Court song. I don't know what that joke is. Yeah. I don't know who that. Yeah. I don't know.
That's all right.
I mean, Brian, you've gotten me, rock hard in the past, but nothing like what you just did right there. So,
I'm wearing a Led Zeppelin T-shirt. If you're watching a video, you would know that already. But
there's nothing to do with it. He just likes to describe what he's wearing.
That's right. That's right. No,
my favorite cover of my body is the Led Zeppelin T-shirt that I'm wearing right now.
It's covering my nipples.
That's right. I did not realize until I did research for this. I mean, this is one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs. I just recently learned was a cover. I had no idea, so I put it on my list immediately. "Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You." Led Zeppelin. The original version was by Anne Breeden. No idea.
Mm-mm.
I don't think I know. I've never heard the original version, but I love the Led Zeppelin version of that song. If you've not listened to it,
I'm going to write that down.
Yes, it is like a it's Jimmy Page playing acoustic guitar and the haunting vocals of Robert Plant. Just so good. It's like just that lighter. The guitar work in this is just. I mean, Jimmy Page is a genius anyway, musical genius in my opinion. So just exquisite, and couple with the vocals, one of the best songs in my opinion that Led Zeppelin ever did. So never realized it was a cover. So fantastic, made my list. There you go.
Nice,
Nick.
Next on my list, and so we've discussed before my love for this particular movie, and in past episodes,
Naked Gun. We just mentioned Naked Gun. Of course.
That's right. That's right.
This one is a cover of a Beatles song, and it is "Blackbird," which is
yes.
Because of this version of the song, it is my favorite version of this song. It is by Evan Rachel Wood from Across the Universe.
Yep, very good.
A fantastic movie. I've mentioned before, I recently started listening to the Beatles. Actually, Nora and I had a nice talk at her birthday party about the Beatles because I was like, I don't know if you know this, but I also recently just got into the Beatles. So we're having this conversation with her.
Well, a 9-year-old girl.
About the Beatles, and so we're talking about albums that we've listened to and stuff like that, and but yeah, so Blackbird, I became familiar with the Beatles music really in depth from Across the Universe, and to this day some of those versions are still my favorite, and it's a great song, but I remember the first time I heard the Beatles version, it's so different than there's really nothing sonically astounding about the Evan Rachel Wood from Across the Universe version of Blackbird.
It's just voice,
beautifully sang, and especially as you're watching the film, it's just a very cool moment. And I just that song has always hit me in a certain way because of my experience of watching that movie and hearing her version of it. So I absolutely love it. I know it's probably a little bit sacrilegious to say that you prefer someone other than the Beatles version of their songs. However, I just love that song. I love her version of Blackbird. Does it help you to know that it's also kind of a civil rights song?
It is. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
I think Beyonce also, not joking, I think she also did a version of that song that Paul McCartney liked a lot. I think. So I think she also did a nice version. No.
Oh,
I think she also did a nice version that
Paul
McCartney. Yes, and Paul McCartney has approved. It said it was a good version as well, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, great song. Great.
And also from, I'm not going to use my turn yet, but also from that movie, Across the Universe, I Want to Hold Your Hand. That rendition of it, by TV Carpio is fucking beautiful.
Yeah, there's a lot of great. That whole soundtrack.
It's a great movie.
I have that soundtrack on. See, it's just if nothing else, listen to the soundtrack. Even if don't have time to watch a movie or you don't think it's for you, listen to the soundtrack for Across the Universe.
Actually, after I watched that movie, I bought the CD.
Yeah, same. Right.
Because of it.
Yeah. I was so into that movie when I first saw it. It was like the only thing I wanted to listen to for like a couple solid weeks. I just wanted to listen to that soundtrack over and over and over again. Yeah.
So, all right, my next month, number 5 on my list. Nick, if you say it's sacrilege to go with anything other than the Beatles original, well, then this is sacrilege, my next pick, because the Beatles, with a little help from my friends, it's where I originally learned the song, was from the fucking Wonder Years show, done by Joe Cocker.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Good version.
Yep. I was older, before I realized and knew that the Beatles
song,
originally, the Beatles wrote it, and that's their song.
Yeah, I thought I'd heard that was a cover. No, I'm thinking maybe
Joe Cocker was covering the Beatles song. Just like
one of the the rare Ringo songs originally.
That's right.
Yeah, great original version too.
And again, Across the Universe, that's a great version of it too.
Sure, yeah.
With all the guys singing together.
Stuff.
He made it his own, that's for sure. Joe Cocker.
He did. And Joe Cocker also did what was it was Ray Charles song, Brian. You Are So Beautiful.
Oh yeah, wonderful.
That's a haunting
Louis
version of it.
Armstrong.
You Are So Beautiful?
No, not
that's Ray
not
Charles.
No.
No? Oh, I don't know what you're saying then.
It's not Ray Charles though.
Let him sit in it. Okay, so I mean, we could edit this.
Sorry,
but
that's all right. Yep,
that's not Ray Charles, is it?
Yeah, we're definitely editing this a little bit here. That's okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. You Are So Beautiful is credited to Billy Preston and Bruce Fisher, who was the first release in '74. B-side of single Strutting.
Original Billy Preston? So did he write it?
Don't edit it out. I was right.
Did you say Billy Preston?
No, but I said it wasn't
Preston.
Ray Charles.
No, I said Billy Preston as in when I read it.
But it wasn't a cover. It's his song, and I don't think Ray Charles.
Joe Cocker did cover it. Okay. I mean, it's originally two guys named Billy Preston and Bruce Fisher.
Okay. All right.
Brian, can you confirm that your cousin made this song?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Let's see.
We'll have Bruce on the show and find out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Ray Charles did do it.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
You can edit whatever the hell you want to happen. But I know Joe Cocker did cover that song. I was wrong.
Oh yeah, his version probably is the most popular version.
Right.
I would agree with you. But it was Billy Preston and Bruce. You're right. So that was their.
There you go. All right.
It's credited to them as on Preston's ninth studio album. So Billy Preston was on his album. But
all right,
okay.
Yep.
And we're back.
There you go.
Nick was right. If you missed anything, Nick was right. That's all.
He was right. You don't need to know what was edited out. Just say he was right. All right.
Yep.
Or that he didn't, nor that he knew the right answer. He didn't know the right answer. He just knew Dean was wrong.
Right. There you go. That's accurate.
All right, but the right answer. I just know that that's not right. What he said.
With a little help from my friends. Originally Beatles, but the cover from Joe Cocker is
proven wrong with
5.
a little help from my friend.
No, that's not necessary. Brian, to talk, so he stops, please.
My fifth on my list here, guys. One of my favorite covers of all time. This version, originally done by the great Bob Dylan, but this version. Definitely more popular, I am quite certain. All Along the Watchtower by the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Just a fantastic, fantastic song. Just Jimmy, the whole feel of that song is fantastic. Yeah, Jimmy's vocals, guitar work, just phenomenal. Great version. That song, if you say, give me 2 to 3 songs you could think of Jimi Hendrix, that's probably going to be one of them that you remember from him. So just fantastic.
Yep.
But he was, I think the majority of people would be surprised of the amount of songs he written and even performed that were covered by so many different artists.
Mm-hmm. Bob Dylan, you're talking?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Bob Dylan was such a prolific writer of music that like you if you went through and go, oh, that was a Bob Dylan song, people would be blown away that like the amount of songs that they enjoy by other artists that covered Bob Dylan songs, because he wasn't, let's face it, he wasn't the greatest singer. Like sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's painful. But he was an amazing songwriter. So everything that he wrote and performed, people took it like Jimi Hendrix and just blew it out of the water.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, just a quick sidebar, by the way. So this summer, Blossom Music Center in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, I believe it's the Outlaws Tour, which includes, if I'm not mistaken, Willie Nelson, John Mellencamp, Bob Dylan. I think it's a great show to go check out. So we'll talk about that offline. But
we definitely should.
Seems like a
Because
very
just so you can
interesting
say you went to see
show.
Bob Dylan live,
And Willie Nelson.
that's one of those people.
And John Mellencamp, for that matter.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I did not know he wasn't dead.
Yep. There you
Which
go.
one?
Still going. Still touring. All those guys. Name one of them.
Point.
Yeah.
All right.
Outlaws Tour. Check it out.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah. We can talk
Also,
about that.
Nick,
quick shout out to U2's version of All Along the Watchtower from Rattle and Hum. I like that version too a lot.
Okay.
U2 covered it on Rattle and Hum.
Very good.
Yeah.
Nick?
And then let's see, what do I got? One spot left here. Okay, well, I'm going to go with, this is not necessarily a popular band, but if you, listen to rock radio in the last 10, 15 years, Phil Collins has a very popular song called In the Air Tonight, and a band called Nonpoint covered them for
I forgot about that. Yeah.
I don't know, 2008-9 movie Miami Vice with Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx. It was used a lot in the promos for that. I think it was on the soundtrack, but Nonpoint's a solid band. It's not one that I necessarily keep up with on a regular basis, but their version of In the Air Tonight is very good. It's obviously a little bit heavier than the original. It's got more of that rock edge to it. Just a really
the irony is that movie shouldn't have been covered.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, a great cover. Yeah, something that shouldn't have been redone led to a great musical cover. So there you go.
There you go.
But yeah, Nonpoint's version of In the Air Tonight. Like I said, they just took a song that wasn't previously a hard rock song and made it one. I mean, that's really all there is to it. Check it out if you haven't heard it. It's pretty decent. So that's my last one on my list there.
Very good.
So,
any honorable mentions?
A lot.
You want to just?
I do too.
You want to rattle them off, or just go around? How you want to do honorable mentions here, guys?
I'll just rattle them off real quick.
Rattle them off. Nick,
I'll start. Boys of Summer, originally done by Don Henley. I love the Atari's version of it. The only reason I didn't have it on my Mount Rushmore is it's not really any different. It's just
it's very
another
similar.
band doing it, but it's basically the same. And to this day, I absolutely, that song, even the Don Henley version, it's got a great beat to it. It's got a cool vibe. Love the song. Anyway, also, I have a Disturbed cover here. My personal favorite Disturbed cover was on their first album, The Sickness. They covered Shout by Tears for Fears.
Absolutely.
They titled it Shout 2000, but it's just a good new metal heavier song, version of the original new wave song. I also have Imagine, that was obviously done by John Lennon. A Perfect Circle put out an album of all covers about peace, love, and war, and one of them, the first single off of that was John Lennon's Imagine. So Perfect Circle was great on that. And then another Pearl Jam entry. They commonly live. This was never on a recorded studio album, but many of their live shows, they cover Rockin' in the Free World by Neil Young. And Neil has even been so gracious as to say that it's their song now. He has passed it on to them, saying they've made it their own. So Rockin' in the Free World by Pearl Jam on live is always just phenomenal. So, and I'll leave it there. My honorable mentions for this evening.
Very good.
So, Dean, what do you got?
All right. I'm actually going to need my glasses for this because I had to write them small towards the bottom here. All right. So I have honorable mentions. I Will Always Love You, originally done by Dolly Parton. Whitney Houston's version was so huge. Me and Bobby McGee by Janis Joplin. If you've heard Pink's cover, it is terrific. Gone Away by Offspring, but covered by Five Finger Death Punch, who is just amazing at covers, aren't they?
They are.
Doing rock versions of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Again, House of the Rising Sun, originally done by the Animals, Five Finger Death Punch.
Great version.
Great version. And then one of my favorite latelys, cover-wise, Zombie, originally done by the Cranberries, remade by Bad Wolves.
Yep.
Yes,
that's a good
If you've
version
ever
too.
heard that, That is a terrific. They change up a couple of the lyrics just to date it, but it still holds the cover, and it's fantastic. So those are my honorable mentions. Brian, what do you got?
Very good. I'll give you just a few. Again, this is 80s. I love the band Wasp. They did a version of I Don't Need No Doctor, originally done by Humble Pie. Great 80s metal version of that song. Fantastic. Aerosmith, Big 10-inch Record was a cover of Volus Jackson. I didn't know it was a cover either.
I didn't know that either.
The research, but love that song.
My Big 10-inch.
Great version. Love that song. Van Halen, awesome cover of the Kinks. You Really Got Me. That was the Eruption led into that song. Great version, Van Halen. I didn't realize this, Dean, but the Top Notes original version of Twist and Shout, sung by the Beatles. The Beatles, fantastic version of Twist and Shout. Motley Crue, to stay on the Beatles theme, did a great version of Helter Skelter by the Beatles. Loved that version by Motley Crue in the 80s. Nine Inch Nails from Cleveland, Ohio. Hurt, covered by the great Johnny Cash. Haunting Johnny Cash's last album.
That was a good one.
Yeah, fantastic. Walk This Way, Aerosmith, covered by Run DMC and Aerosmith in the 80s, which actually helped Aerosmith get back on track, but a great rap version of that song. Metallica, Whiskey in the Jar, very famous cover of them, originally done by Thin Lizzy. You hear that Metallica version all over the place.
And it's so weird to hear Thin Lizzy's version of it now.
Yeah, it is. It really is. You think about the Metallica version when you think about that song for sure. Tainted Love, originally done by Gloria Jones, a quintessential 80s song by Soft Cell. That is one of the songs of the decade for sure, was the Soft Cell Tainted Love version.
So that even wasn't their original one.
No, it was not.
I thought Manson covered their original, and that was the first one.
Cover of a cover.
Oh, look at that.
It was. I did not realize one of Aretha Franklin's greatest songs was a cover by Otis Redding originally, Respect. I didn't know that. I did not know that was not an original Aretha Franklin song. R-E-S-P-C-T was not Aretha Franklin. So there you go. I have others as well, but that's
that two-timing bitch. She'd been passing that off as hers for years.
Yep. There you go. Yeah, I'll throw one more in. Sinead O'Connor just passed away recently. So that was an original. Nothing Compares to You. Her version of The Family, which was Prince. So Prince wrote that song, and he had a band, like a side project called The Family. Sinead O'Connor took a version of that was really just...
Nothing Compares to You?
Yes. That was... Prince wrote that song and covered it originally.
Was one of my...
Makes sense.
Honorable mentions, because Chris Cornell did it on that same album.
There you go.
And covered it, and it's delightful.
Fantastic song, and the video in the 80s was really well known. It was just Sinead O'Connor singing and crying.
Black and white.
Very popular lyrics and vocals there. So, all right. Quick question. We got about a minute or so. Yep. What are the elements of a good cover? We talked about these a little bit already. So what are some elements of a good cover?
Egyptian cotton.
Okay, well, besides Egyptian cotton as one of your favorite elements of a cover. So thinking of cover songs, Nick. So what are some elements of what makes a good song cover? Go ahead. What do you think, Nick?
Dean's heavy breathing has got me.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Am I doing it now?
It is a lot, yeah.
There's a female,
I don't know.
There's a female woman sleeping next to that on a regular basis, ladies and gentlemen. Really, God damn it.
I've got allergies. When you guys tell me when you hear that, I could adjust the microphone. I apologize.
Can you move your allergies away from the microphone? That's all we're asking.
I didn't know. I can't hear. I can barely fucking breathe. I can let me know about that.
I don't think honestly, this is like, usually you can take your own, spin of an answer. I don't have an answer for that one. It varies. There's really there's not a common theme, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like all the covers I've picked here, some of them, for example, I've got Sweet Dreams. It's a different version, or Blackbird, a different version from the original song. The original song may be just fine, but they made it their own and did something cool and different with it. And then, you've got things on there that, like, the songs didn't change that much at all. I mentioned Boys of Summer by Ataris and In the Air Tonight's not much different other than it's I guess maybe taking a song that you're not totally changing the song, but putting your own spin on it, I guess, is the closest I could come to giving it, one common answer. But there's different, and Free Fallin' by John Mayer, like I said, is probably my favorite one, and that's the best balance of both, right? He took a song, he didn't totally change it. It's very recognizable, but it's his own version. There's no mistaking that, it's not too similar. He made it his own. So I guess it's a hard thing to really define. I guess somewhere in between taking an iconic song and putting your own spin on it, but not changing it entirely. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good answer or not, but it's the closest I can come. It's putting in a spin of originality on something that maybe is beloved or well known.
Okay.
So,
Dean, what do you think?
All right, I think that Nick has had a problem with my heavy breathing because he's not used to hearing heavy breathing in his life.
That's right.
So I'm gonna start with that. But as far as covers goes,
thank you for clearing that up first and foremost.
It's bothered me. No, but there's actually two ideas I think for covers. One is the idea that there's brilliant songwriting out there that for some reason the artist just didn't quite capture it, but somebody else can take those amazing lyrics and really feel it and really put their everything into it. That's why you have so many of these covers that you go, oh shit, I didn't know that was cover. I thought that was the original, because there are these lyrics out there that these songwriters do that they just don't have it. You know what I mean? And I think the perfect cover is taking those obscure songs and really making them your own. On the other side is, like Nick was saying, it was taking beloved songs or a little better known songs and doing something cool with it. Changing it up, you love the song, you tap along the song, the lyrics, the beat, but then when you hear somebody else's interpretation of it, you're like, oh shit, that's amazing. You love both are cool, but you get these two left brain and right brain, so to speak, ideas of what the song could be, and I think that's exciting for the listener, is to hear the interpretation. And that's really what a cover is. Yes, like Nick said, you do have the covers that are just straight covers. They're just doing it beat by beat and stuff, which is still good. But my favorite is when I love those. I can't remember who it was. Give me a million years, I couldn't think of it. But it's this guy doing Frank Sinatra-esque style, and he does rap songs. And it is fucking terrific. There is a something modern day jukebox band that takes all sorts of rap songs, rock songs, pop songs, and does it in a 1920s, 1930s era style. If you've ever been to Crafty Cocktail, they play this band a lot. In the background, because it takes all these modern songs and puts it into a 1920s, 1930s era sound. And I think that's the fun of a cover is the reimagination. Yeah,
I do like those. They have compilations. They're called Punk Goes Pop, where they take like popular top 40 songs,
absolutely,
and it's like alternative bands and stuff, heavier bands.
I love that,
doing very popular songs. So just a different interpretation, or like Dean's interpretation of podcasting is breathing aggressively into a microphone. Like just a reimagining of something that everyone knows and just doing it completely differently. Very cool. So Yeah, Brian, what do you think about that? What's your idea of a good cover?
No, I think you guys are right. I think it's two types of versions of a cover, like you guys are saying. So one is a solid version of a great song that's very true to the original in many respects. Nothing wrong with that. There's definitely, cool versions of many covers that are very similar to the original song. But if you have the musical ability to take a song and make it your own and have a whole different, vibe to it, then that's just it's great. And a lot of those, like I said, we didn't realize, even doing this research for this show, that they were even covers. Some of the songs that we like from some favorite artists, we didn't realize they were a cover, because they've done so well with taking that song and really making it their own and making it a almost a trademark for that band. So if you're going to do that, you better do it well. I guess that's maybe the point. Sure. If you have the ability to take a original song and put your own spin to it and create your own a version of it that becomes
what's the adage? Popular, if you take a shot at the king, popular, best not miss.
That's right. Exactly.
Do it. You better fucking hit it on the money.
Right. That's right. That's right. Like the Whitney, Houston version of, I Will Always Love You. The Dolly Parton version is fantastic. So to beat that version or to compete with that version, you really did a more of a traditional, but just the vocals and everything just a whole different level. Yeah. And then there's other bands, again, that have a whole different, like the Jimi Hendrix Experience with All on the Watchtower. It's not the Bob Dylan version at all, but it's such a true Jimi Hendrix sound. It just creates a whole other, version of that song that's even
definitely
more popular,
one where he
probably
owns that. That's his song now.
Absolutely. It is. Yeah, it really is. So,
and even like you mentioned the Whitney Houston, Dolly Parton, I Will Always Love You. Mm-hmm. That growing up when I did, and that was such a popular song.
I didn't know it was Dolly until
I had no idea that was Dolly Parton's song until pretty recently. I was like,
and then you hear it and you're like, oh, hers is fucking beautiful too. It's like,
sure, the way Dolly does it. Different version, but still fantastic.
Yep. Good stuff. Well, good topic. Well, if you out there listening have some of your favorite
I'd like to hear other people's version or things maybe we haven't heard or we would like to check out. So people commenting in our social media accounts would be fantastic. We'd like to hear what kind of things. I appreciate your efforts to try to cover it up, but if that's what you're doing, but we still hear you.
Yeah. If you want to take Dean's breathing and mix it into your own original music, we'd love to hear it.
Cover me anytime.
Sure. Love to hear it.
Brian's been trying to cover you with a muzzle for many, many episodes now.
Well, he's going to hear my heavy breathing soon enough. Don't you worry about that.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing...
You going to put a muzzle on me, Daddy?
That's right.
Let's pay extra for that.
That's right. One thing, guys, that you can cover out there is your skin with some excellent tattooed artwork by our friends at formerly Golden Heart Tattoo. That they're still has the new name been finalized yet, you guys? Or I'm not quite sure.
Not
yet.
That I've heard.
Okay, so
we'll just stick with Golden Heart, I guess.
Right, we'll get that out to you. So Golden Heart Tattoo is soon to be something different in historic, fantastic Wadsworth, Ohio.
The Scott and Greg Show. That's what it's
Scott and Greg
called.
Show. Exactly right. Go. So tell them you would like your own cover of, again, some terrific artwork. Just give them a call these days right now. Just 234-706-2982. Tell them you want covered, and they will be happy to oblige.
Scott's been asking me about starting a podcast with him, doing a wrestling podcast.
There you go.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, is that the truth?
Yeah. No. Yeah. He's asked me quite a few times. Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
All
Be
right.
sure to keep an ear out for that. Like and
on the
subscribe.
Convincing Idiots Network.
There you go. That's right.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be called Heavy Breathing and Wrestling Talk.
That's right.
Something like that. They're still workshopping the name, but something
workshopping it.
Mm-hmm.
We've done all this talk about covers and reimaginings of things, and has there been a better cover or a reimagination than that of the traditional bicycle?
No,
Than what
not
our
really.
friends at RPM Bike Shop have done? Absolutely fucking not. That's right. They have reimagined your old-fashioned thoughts of a bicycle. They have reimagined it for the modern day and given you today's finest selection of electric bikes. That's right. If you don't believe me, you should head on over to their
Damn one with
Facebook
the
page.
seat missing.
Just search for RPM Bike Shop. They are located in Carrollton, Ohio. They are the ones with the fantastic electric bikes. You can also go to their website, rpmbikeshop.com, or give them a call, 330-808-7792 today, and ride your way into the greatest remix of all time. That's right, you and your brand new electric bike.
Excellent.
Could you
That's
not
good.
make jokes about ass fucking when I'm in the middle of an ad read, Dean?
First of all, if I can pop Brian like that, which I've never done before, I'm not going to apologize for anything.
Please don't pop Brian while I'm ad reading. Please.
That's
You
good.
pop Brian on your own time, not during RPM Bike Shop's time. God
My
damn.
apologies.
All right, well, guys, we've covered many great covers.
Yeah.
We've covered ass jokes.
Yeah, we have humor,
Covered heavy breathing. Yes,
Mhm.
I really don't know what else there is to
Heavy
cover, except covering the outro of the show, Nick.
Yes. Well, I would love to cover the outro. That's right. So,
no. Can I interrupt?
no.
I don't do it that
we
often.
can be found on. You don't.
No. For people that hadn't been listening a while, or just new, they really don't know that your outro is not really yours. That normally, or back in the day, you used
That's
to cover
true.
them.
We used to do covers. Yeah, we used to do covers.
So it's been a while. And speaking of covers, why don't we hear a cover of the outro, if you will?
All right.
And I'm thinking of, out of all of these different covers we've talked about, Brian, who do you think you got somebody in mind here?
I'm Nick. If you're searching for my name.
No, I'm talking Brian. Bob Dylan.
If it's
Dylan. The king of being covered.
you'd like to hear from. In
Yeah,
fact,
Bob Dylan, I like it.
I was brought up earlier, and some
do it.
people thought I was dead, but I'm not. No, sir.
That
In
guy's an
fact,
idiot.
hitting the road this summer. So you should hit the proverbial road of the internet. All you have to do is search on Google "Convincing Idiots"
Why is he so
Linktree.
wobbly?
LINKTREE, and there you can find so many links to Convincing Idiots. You can also go to the website. It's convincingidiots.wordpress.com. So, for this episode of Convincing Idiots, I'm the great millennial Bob Dylan.
I'm the Zennial Dean.
Jet X Brian.
If we convinced you to join us for another moving musical episode of Convincing Idiots.
Everybody, Gen X Brian with Millennial Nick and Zennial Dean. We need more people besides Nick's mom watching us. Give us a like and subscribe.
This week on Convincing Idiots, it's Superman's birthday. And Nick gets really sad about the Golden Bachelor.
Are you still excited for new albums dropping? The new Taylor Swift album drops soon. Are you excited about that? And albums, I screwed up. I should lead in with Taylor Swift. Sorry about that.
I can't work like this. It's terrible.
That's like working with Jeff Lynne. I don't